All right, everyone. Thanks for joining Military History Chronicles. I want to welcome all those who came over from NorCal Sports Network. Man, we've been going to town on that channel. Boy, all that Giants news going on. Got to cover it though, right? Got to cover it. Got to see what the Giants are going to do, and it's looking pretty bad. But we're over here at Military History Chronicles. Today we're gonna get into some September 11th stuff. Maybe get into some of your guys' personal experiences of what that day meant to you. We can also get into the deeper things if you want. I know there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there, and I'm sure we'll hear them, but that's fine. I'll hear them. May agree, may disagree. We may agree to disagree. But yeah, that's something we should talk about. We'll try to get into some of the current events too. A lot of stuff going on out there. Should be joining us lately. I sent him the link. He said he got it, so just waiting for him to show up before I get a little bit too deep in there. But again, thanks for joining. Sorry it's been a while. Like I said, we've been going kind of late with NorCal Sports Network, and it kind of makes it tough to try to go on here when we're talking for 3 hours. It can make it kind of difficult. But because I want to get on early enough to some of the East Coast people. It's already late enough over there. I mean, I'm asking a lot of you guys to be able to join me here at gosh, I'm going over here at 11:30. It's 2:30 on the East, so it makes it kind of difficult, but do our best. I'm probably gonna alter. I got a poll out there to talk about what you guys think the time frame I should start. Should it be earlier? Should it be later? And I think I might just do a little bit of both. It's almost running 50-50. I think it's like 46 to 54% from the early evening to the late evening. So I think I'll change it up. I'll be able to, I think I have a little bit more time once all this free agent stuff stops. Like I said, it makes it tough because when no moves are being made and it gets stretched out, you're gonna have to cover it. So what's up, Mo G? Good to see you. I see Mo G Theory. I haven't seen you before, but welcome. Actually, I think I may have seen you a couple times, but welcome. Got MF in here, Matthew, of course, and Arrow. I think there's a few more of you out there. All right. Everyone can always watch. Yep, that is true. That is true. I like going live though, because I like interacting with the chat. That kind of what makes it a little bit special to be able to just to interact, hear what you guys have to say, try to answer, hear your guys' opinions, and try to answer any questions you may have. I love doing that. So yeah, but yes, you are correct. People can see view on demand, so after it's done, they can listen to it. But the interaction just isn't there. That's the only thing. What's up, Ron? What's up, Bay Area? Thanks for joining, guys. I appreciate it. Like I said, today's title is going to be September 11th, 2001. That was quite an interesting time in U.S. history, right? The only time, well, you know what? Can't say that. Can't say that was the only time that we were attacked on our soil, because it actually happened in 1993. Yeah, I know what that stands for. But yeah, the World Trade. I don't know how many people remember this. In 1993, the World Trade Center was hit. A huge bomb underneath the parking garage, and it was a. I don't know if you guys have seen the explosions. Here, maybe I can bring it up here. But they tried to do their best in bringing down the World Trade Center back in 1993. 1993 bombing. Give me a minute here. Let's see. I'm gonna find some images here. See if we can find them. There we go. I don't know if is it? Maybe it is. I'll make sure I get the right one and it's not from. Yeah, maybe it is. Let me go back here. Is that FBI.gov? Just bear with me. I'm just trying to find something here. I actually go back. All right. Let me share this. Nope, not the wrong one. Where's it at? Where's the one I want? Oh, where the hell did it go? Just had it up. And well, this before I actually put this up in there, welcome in Will B. What's up, Will?
It's cracking, man.
Hey, just started getting into it right now. What's up, Jimmy?
Right on.
I'm just trying to show them here. You know, World Trade Center didn't begin. Oh, come on. No, whoa. There we go. World Trade Center began way before 1993 or before 2001.
Oh, yeah. Much longer.
You had the night. This is an FBI photo, as a matter of fact. And I can't remember who it was, but it was some Islamist guy, right? Like a blind Islamist guy. Can't remember his name.
Sheikh.
Yeah, the blind sheikh.
Khalik, something Muhammad.
They did try to bring down the World Trade Center, like I said, in 1993.
Yep.
It was, look at the, I mean, the damage that this bomb did was huge. Honestly, I'm surprised that the building didn't come falling down.
Well, there was something with the ANFO that they were using. I don't know if they forgot a shipment, but they didn't have the right quantity. They were missing something.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's why it didn't have the effect it had. 93 is also when Osama bin Laden was spotted in Sudan.
Exactly. Here, we got some more here. Let's share this with you guys. This is coming straight from the FBI here. Share this with you.
For whatever.
Oh my God, look at that. That's actually on my birthday. February 26th, 1993.
What a coinky. At least it's not 9/11. Could you imagine
I know.
9/11 these days? Oh, boy.
At about 17 minutes past noon, the thunderous explosion rocked in lower Manhattan. The epicenter was the parking garage beneath World Trade Center, where a massive eruption carved out nearly 100-foot crater, several stories deep and several more high. 6 people were killed almost instantly. Smoke and flames began to fill the wound and streaming upwards into the building. Those who weren't trapped were soon getting pouring out of the building, many panic-stricken and covered in soot. More than 1,000 people were hurt in some way, some badly with crushed limbs. Oh. Middle Eastern terrorism had arrived on American soil with a bang. So remember, yes, we were attacked in 2001 that we're going to get into, but the first one on American soil was this one, 1993 World Trade Center. A small band of terrorists scurried away from the scene unnoticed. The FBI and its partners in the New York Joint Terrorism Task Force began staffing up a command center, preparing to send in a team to investigate. Their instincts told them that this was terrorism. They'd been tracking Islamic fundamentalists in the city for months, and they'd later learn were tantalizing close to encountering the planners of this attack. The hunches weren't enough. That was
the hunches weren't enough. BS. Okay, I won't get into it just yet, but
I hear you. Let's see. Let's go here. This is the guy right here. As a search of our crime records returned to match, the number belonged to a rented van reported stolen the day before the attack. An Islamic fundamentalist named Mohammed Samaleh had rented a vehicle, we learned, and on March 4th, an FBI SWAT team arrested him as he tried in vain to get his $400 deposit back. Huh? He tried to go get his deposit back? Dude! Yeah, exactly. Not exactly the brightest bulb in the. Wow.
Good Lord, man.
Unbelievable.
I mean, people are naive, but Jesus.
The shockwave from the attack continued to reverberate following the unfolding connections of the task force soon uncovered a second terrorist plot to bomb a series of New York landmarks simultaneously, including the UN building, the Holland and the Lincoln tunnels, and the Federal Plaza, where our office in New York is held. FBI, that is. Wow. That's who it is. Ramzi Youssef. That's the guy.
Ramzi. Yeah, that guy was just a mean.
Yep. Matter of fact, I think he went to the Supermax, the one in is it Idaho or Colorado? One of those two.
Yeah.
Within weeks of the after attack, and discovered he was planning more attacks, including a simultaneous bombing of a dozen U.S. international flights. Youssef was captured in Pakistan in February 1995, returned to America, convicted along with the van driver. Iyad Ismail, the seventh plotter, Abu Yassan, remains at large. I'm not sure when was this done. When was this last? It's FBI. Well, yeah, FBI.gov. So I'm guessing it's probably updated.
This is
yeah.
Al Qaeda in our own country
Exactly.
at this point.
We later learned from Youssef that his Trade Center plot was far more sinister. He wanted the bomb to topple one tower, with the collapsing debris knocking down the second. The attack turned out to be something of a deadly dress rehearsal for 9/11. With the help of Youssef's uncle, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, Al-Qaeda would later return to realize Youssef's nightmarish vision. So there you go. There's the big picture there. There's a little bit of a smaller one. So you could say this is kind of where we want to say it began. I don't know. For all intents and purposes for this discussion, we'll go ahead and say, yeah, it started at this point.
Right.
You got to remember, because after this, we had the USS Cole attacked. Cool. Well, nope, before that. The Khobar Towers, the barracks in Kuwait were bombed. The USS Cole, 2 embassies, one in Nigeria and the other one somewhere else in Africa. Can't remember. There was 2 embassies. I just don't remember. So in a matter of a decade, right?
Roughly, yeah.
In a matter of a decade, listen to this. Within a decade, we could even say we could go within 3 years, or we could go within 8 years. From 1993 to 2001, you had World Trade Center number 1, USS Cole, Khobar Towers, 2 embassy buildings, and then 9/11. That's 6 terrorist events. All against, whether it was on the continental United States or against U.S. property or personnel. And what happened in that time frame? Did we do anything?
No.
I mean, I think
what's up to the big one?
Oklahoma City. I agree. Oklahoma City was within that time frame too, but that didn't have to do with Islamic jihadists.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. That is a terrorist act, and that did happen with that time frame. So yeah, you could say 9. There was 9 terrorist attacks. 8 of them being, or not 8. What was it? It was 6. So you had 7. 1 was domestic.
1 domestic.
6 were international. But yeah, I think Clinton, he had a couple of responses with the embassies. I think they threw a couple of missiles inside Afghanistan, right?
Yeah, it was if it was nothing though. I mean,
right.
I mean,
it didn't do much.
Well, that's when we were kind of acting more of a retaliatory nation versus an aggressive nation.
Correct.
They took advantage of us. And not only that, but back then there was something to do with the interagency communication. It had to do with the machismo of the CIA versus FBI versus ATF versus DEA.
It was bad, and that would come home to roost.
To 9/11, right?
Yeah.
They did it again in 93. In 93, they dropped so many balls in 93. People were reporting. So Ramzi Youssef was going to a local mosque, and people were actually reporting him as like, "Hey, this guy's a radical."
Yeah,
like,
hey, he's
coming to our mosque here,
yeah,
and he's preaching something different. Like, this guy's really got to watch out for. And they watched out for him, and then they still didn't. At the end of the day, they let an attack happen. I mean, on their watch. I mean, they could have done something about this a little bit sooner.
Absolutely, it happened, and it happened on a bigger scale, of course, on September 11th. Right. But so you got to kind of set the stage here. So there's a lot of things happening. Our reaction, I guess you could say our reaction really wasn't.
And we were at that time, 93. We also had Somalia going on as well as Somalia was going on.
But to be honest, during that period in time, there wasn't, as compared today, it was peaceful.
Very peaceful. I mean, all we had to deal with Somalia back then. Cool.
Correct.
I'll take that right now.
And that was a humanitarian. That wasn't even a quote unquote a military operation. It turned into a military operation, but it was all supposed to help the hungry, right? That's where it was supposed to be. And then, of course, we've talked about this before on this channel. Osama bin Laden, the mastermind behind, well, I don't know if he was part of the mastermind, because I think you got that Egyptian guy. I can't remember what his name was.
Oh God.
He was just killed a couple of last year or something.
Mm-hmm.
They finally got him, and he was in freaking Kabul.
Yeah.
What the hell was his name? He's that Egyptian guy. Anyways, he was, I guess, quote unquote, the mastermind, but of course, Osama was behind it.
He put pen to paper, so to speak, and he funded it. He had the money.
But he had the money. Exactly. He came from a very rich family. And we'll get into this a little bit more about the demographic of the people who actually took part in the bombing.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with the nation that they came from.
Nope.
But you could talk about the fundamentalism of their religion.
Some came up from wealthy families. I mean, Osama included. He was a prince.
Exactly, and let's not forget, Americans helped fund Osama and his buddies when they were a part of the Mujahideen fighting against the Russians.
Yep,
that's just how it is.
Which is why he wasn't arrested in '93 in Sudan.
The friends of my friends, or the enemies of my friends, are my friends. Something to that effect, right?
Something to that effect.
The enemies, no, anyway, something like that. How did I mess that all up? The enemies of my enemies are my friends. Something like that.
Close. Sounds about right.
I
don't know. No. Socrates would said something like that.
Not the guy that died like a dog. That was the ISIS commander. He died in Syria.
Oh yeah, that guy got.
He blew himself up. Yeah, he blew himself up. Oh, God, hold on. Now I'm gonna have to find him. What the fuck is? Excuse me,
Oh, you're all good.
I'm typing it out and it's showing me. Here we go.
Saif al-Adil? No.
There it is. Ayman al-Zawahiri.
Yeah, Zawahiri. That ass clown. I remember that guy.
And we finally just took him out, like last year in of all places, Afghanistan. Imagine that. Imagine after the United States pulls out, they had to kill him while he was in Afghanistan. Yeah, they're not going to be up to no good, right?
He was hiding out there for a while, I believe.
So you got these who used to be our friends because they were fighting the Russians because they were being invaded. They wind up turning into our enemies. And there's a whole bunch of different things you could go down. They're radical Islamists. They have a certain way of how they see the world. And when they look at the West, primarily looking at the United States, but also Western Europe, they don't like the lifestyle, the culture, the religion we may have.
They also see us as an extension of Israel.
Of Israel, because we're friends of Israel. That you can't ignore that as well. So they were finding ways to try to attack us. And if you think about it, that first World Trade Center, what year did Russians pull out of Afghanistan? 1989.
89, yeah.
So they pulled out in 80. It was only 4 years later that the first, this Ramzi Youssef decides to blow up a bomb in the World Trade Center. So it didn't take long for them to pivot from attacking the Soviets to coming after us.
Right.
And you know what? I mean, you have to do a lot of research. And I'm just spitballing here. Another thing that happened in that time frame is the Soviet Union collapsed.
Yep.
Gone. Okay.
Power void.
Power. Exactly. There's a huge vacuum. And along with that vacuum, they had spheres of influence that they controlled. Those spheres of influence disappeared. So you didn't have the Russians. You didn't have the Soviets saying, "Don't be doing that crazy shit because then it's going to bring us involved." So you just simmer down, right? But once that was gone, they were able to. The crazies were able to do whatever the hell they want, and they did. And unfortunately, we weren't able to do anything. All right, I guess now we can fast forward to September 11th of 2001. After all those attacks and, the United States kind of lackluster response in taking care of that. And we can get into more what you were talking about earlier about the communication between the different intelligence agencies. Real quick, is now we funded the Mujahideen. Basically, it's a war by proxy.
Right.
You could consider that was the Soviet Union's Vietnam. Just like how the Soviet Union was funding, with the help of the Chinese as well, funding the Viet Cong to bog us down in Vietnam. We did the same thing with them in Afghanistan. And honestly, the biggest thing that we gave, what was the biggest weapon that we gave them? The Stinger missile.
Yeah.
That was it.
Down helicopters.
Because one thing the Mujahideen could not do is they could not counter those attack helicopters. Once we gave them the Stinger, it was all she wrote for the Russians. But it kept them in Afghanistan because I think they started incursion, I think, in 79, right? But I think the full-fledged stuff didn't start till, 80, 81, somewhere around there?
81, 82, somewhere around there, yeah. It really picked up.
That's when it really kicked off. So, yeah, funding the Mujahideen was a benefit for us because they were bogging down the Soviet Union. It was all part of the Cold War stuff. I mean, the Cold War involved a lot of hot wars.
It did.
But not again. It was more, hey, we'll support you to attack them, and then they have supported them to attack us, and it's just, that's just how it worked. But September 11th, man, this is crazy. I was stationed. I'm just going to give you my personal experience. I was stationed at Shepherd Air Force Base. I was an instructor at the time, and being an instructor, I was also a security forces augmentee. Which is, if anything kicks off, I go basically become a base cop, right? You get armed and everything, right? Get to wear the beret and all that crap. But part of that duty is once a year, you got to go and do 2 weeks of basically security force. You go man a gate and do all that stuff. Well, I was, because it's 2 weeks, but since they were in 12-hour shifts, I only had to do basically a week's worth. And my last night because I was on a mid shift, I started on 11 o'clock on September 10th, got off duty September 11th at 7 a.m. Central Standard. I drive home, nothing big, go home. And anytime I do mids, I go home and just go sleep. So I go to sleep. And I might have told this story before, so forgive me if you've heard this before. But I'm laying in bed. And my wife comes in and says, hey, Eric, a plane hit a World Trade Center. I was like, really? Yeah, because I was tired. I was like, I'll just see it when I wake up. I'll read about it. And then literally she said, God, excuse me. A few minutes later, she's screaming, Eric, the World Trade Center fell. And I'm going, what are you talking about? World Trade Center fell. And I walk out there and I'm watching the TV. And they're showing one of the towers was still up, but one of them, you saw all the smoke from the first one. And I'm going, what the hell is this? Excuse me. I was like, what is going on? I was like, planes just don't hit. Because I knew from the beginning right there, 2 planes don't hit the World Trade Center. It doesn't happen. There may be an accident with one because, maybe there was a malfunction and it happened that's where it happened to hit. But 2 planes hitting the World Trade Center, it already perked my ears. And then when they showed the Pentagon on smoke or up in smoke, I got cold. I was like, we're at war. That's the first thing I said. We're at war. I was wondering what is going to happen now. Holy shit, and I was immediately, I only had like an hour of sleep. I was awake like that. It was crazy. And I was like, I think I better go into work. I'm off duty, so I just went in civilian clothes because I had just came off duty, so I'm technically not on duty. And there hadn't been a recall at that time yet. So I'm driving into to where I instruct. People are just going ape shit. Where the instructor offices are, we have big old wall. It's like a whole wall of glass looking outdoors. They're dropping the blinds. Like everyone's in the break room watching the TV. It's like every instructor was in there. The students in the classrooms, they were freaking out. They didn't know what was going on. And at that time, they hadn't done a recall, but I was like, I'm getting on the phone because I'm calling security because I know I'm going to get called up. It's going to happen. I'm going to get called up. So I kind of wanted to get a heads up, and I was like, I called security forces like, hey, I just came off of a mid shift. Can I just come in on mid shift? And they said, yeah, that'd be fine. Because because if they recalled me, there's no way I could have came in. You know what I'm saying? There's no way I'm coming in after you get off at 11 or 7 o'clock in the morning. You're not going to come in at 9 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning. So from then on, I was on mid shift. Oh man. And we had seriously, we had 8 to 10 people at each gate. We were in the beginning, we were inspecting every single car that was coming into that base.
No,
I mean, the traffic jam at the gates was literally, God, 5-10 miles back until we came up to, then they had different procedures of how they were going to search vehicles. We wind up installing the speed bump that has a camera underneath. So they had to roll over the camera really slow. I mean, it was nuts. But then hearing the radio, because we had a radio in the guardhouse, and you're just hearing all the reports, especially from that investment firm in the World Trade Center where they lost 700 of their, I can't remember the number, but they lost hundreds of employees. I was just like,
Cantor
wow.
Fitzgerald.
Cantor Fitzgerald. They had the guy on there and he's just weeping. I'm just going, oh my gosh. Finally, I get home and super, super frustrated talks about it. And I'm watching some of these clips and you could see, because that was another thing, where's the president? And you could see, he's at that school and you could see his chief of staff come out and, whispered in his ear, and you could see his face.
Yeah.
It was like deadly earnest, right?
Well, he knew he was at war.
He knew what it meant, but he couldn't do. When you're in an elementary school, you're not going to be able to.
Oh, you can't lose your shit.
Exactly, you can't. You can't. And I applaud him. I applaud him. I mean, he did a fantastic job during that period of time. And you got to remember, he was only president for how many months at that time?
Oh,
he got inaugurated in January, and here it is September.
He did a great job rallying, the troops and the nation, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And I remember they got in a plane. They said that's the highest that the Air Force One has ever flown. I think it was over 50,000 feet in the air. They were debating. I know that was a big thing. They're debating where do they want to fly him to, and they wanted to fly him to. I think he flew to Louisiana, did a press conference, and then they wanted him to go to Omaha because they got a huge, I guess you want to say, bunker. I guess for a command and control center in the center of the country where he could be safe. But he's like, nope, I'm going back to Washington.
Yeah,
and he flew back to Washington. He wanted to be back. I like that. That's what you want to see in a leader.
Yeah, well, in fact, they were telling him he couldn't land back there, and he pretty much overrode him. No, we're going back to Washington. I need to be out in front of
exactly. So that was my experience. How about you? Where were you at? How old were you at that time?
Oh God, what was I? 16, 17, somewhere around there.
Oh, so you're in high school then?
Yeah, I was in high school. I remember woke up that morning, getting ready for school. Man, it was on the TV already. We got nailed. I didn't really think too much of it at the time. I was already running late. I was kind of admittedly a shitbag in high school. But I remember driving to school, and on my way to school, I used to always listen to Howard Stern.
Oh yeah, that was fantastic radio, actually.
Oh my God, and I think that's on YouTube. I think his broadcast is on YouTube from that day. And I remember listening to that, and I was just like, "Holy crap, man! We are like, okay, so we're at war now with someone." And I remember, really non-eventful for me that day because we ended up having a half day too because of people had their parents working in the Bay Area. Remember, they were afraid the other cities would get hit like San Francisco and Los Angeles.
Yeah, they didn't know.
Yeah. But I remember my first class of the day I was Air Force ROTC in high school, and we had a lieutenant colonel. He served in Vietnam. And we had a senior master sergeant. He was a pararescuer. He was a PJ in Vietnam. And Colonel Livingston, he was a crusty. Oh man, senior master sergeant. Oh yeah, yep. The senior master sergeant Hyman. That was his name. Good guy. But Colonel Livingston was born and bred from Brooklyn. I mean, that was his hometown, and he was in tears when he was talking to us.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
He goes, "This is where my family's from," and. I remember him telling us, he goes, "Hey, just because this happened, because, don't use it as an excuse to take your anger out on someone." In other words, he was, letting us know, hey,
preaching
people-
temperance. Yeah.
Right, exactly. It's not all Muslims. It's not all Islamist people. It's not all of them. Don't take your anger out on them.
Right.
You know, and I thought that was a pretty important message. And
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really the thing I took away from that. And you know, and I just remember looking at him, and he flew over 40 some odd missions, or I think he flew more than that in Vietnam. So this guy is a badass, man. He survived all that, and here he is, crying. I'm like, damn, this is huge. Oh yeah,
Exactly.
read this replay.
But then you start hearing how it all happened, because everyone's wondering what in the hell happened. And
Right, yeah.
how, I mean, you just think about the planning, the logistics that the terrorists used to do this was just, it's incredible that they were able to pull this off, because, you think about it, think about prior to September 11th, airports weren't all that secure. It was the security screenings were nothing.
Oh, you could walk up there with your family and say
you could
goodbye.
walk up there and say goodbye, all that. Exactly. Yeah. So it was the cockpit. Sometimes the cockpit door would be open. I mean, It's just.
I remember that.
And it's crazy, but and I know there's going to be conspiracies out there. Airplanes can't do this. But you got to understand how big a 767 or a 757 is. These are not small aircraft. And you got to remember what they did. They all took off from where?
From Boston.
Boston or New York, right? Okay. All their destinations were where? California.
Right.
San Francisco or LA.
Right.
So they're going to have, I don't know if it's going to be topped off all the way, but they're going to have an extremely amount of a heavy load of fuel to be able to travel across the continent. Well, yeah, across the continent. You could say it from east to west. And yeah, the airport, right, exactly. But So now you got these basically flying bombs loaded down with JP4, whatever the heck they call it. I don't know if it was JP4. That's what I'm used to calling it. JP4, JP8, whatever it may be.
I think it's JP8.
JP8 is what, I don't know if that what airliners use or not, but I'm just going to go JP8. Basically it's kerosene for the most part.
Yeah. You can actually put a cigarette butt out and that stuff won't blow up.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how you freak out the newbies when you're out in the exercise.
It's similar to diesel fuel.
Yeah.
Very similar. Let me see something.
I don't recommend you guys do that though, but it is a party trick. If you are a new Army guy, use that in front of one of your sergeants, you'll impress them.
Okay, let's go this here. What do I want to do here? I want to see the fuel load on this.
Oh, it's got to be tons.
Oh, Lord. It's going to be a lot, especially like I said when you're flying to the more rows. What do we got here? Oh, come on! What do we got going on here? I don't want to subscribe.
So they call it Jet Alpha.
Jet A.
Jet A.
Jet A. That's what it is. Okay, here we go. Okay.
I was in the Army.
Oh, come on. What are we doing here? Why can't I plus it? What's going on? Whatever. I can't do that. Yes, that's it. Here we go. Let me just bring this up because this is one at a time. I think, how many was it? Two 767s and two 757s? Something like that?
I believe so. Let me see.
Something like that. All right, here's the weights. Maximum takeoff weight, 450,000 pounds. Okay. Maximum zero fuel load. Maximum zero fuel. Okay. 330,000 pounds. Usable fuel, 161. So I don't know if it would be at the max, but it's probably close. Let's go in the middle somewhere and say 250,000 pounds of fuel.
I would imagine it's pretty high because I've flown that trip before.
Here you go. If you want a fuel capacity, here's how many gallons it was.
24,000
24,000 pounds of fuel. Okay. And And the maximum cruise speed is 529. Now I'm gonna say something right now. Have you guys seen the I'm pretty sure you guys seen the footage of the planes hitting the World Trade Center, right?
Oh, of course.
Now the first one, it was hard to see because I know the only footage I think they had of it was from the firefighters. Remember, they were
right. That we were doing. They were doing a documentary.
Oh, that was great because the guy on who did that? National Geographic, right? Yeah, I think it was National Geo that did that interview. Remember that captain guy, the fire captain? He was down there investigating a gas leak. And they looked up because you could hear the plane whining.
Come in, yeah.
You heard it, but it was flying straight in, right? It just looked straight and level, right over the top. And you heard those engines whining. So they're putting the coals to the fire.
Yeah, they balls to the wall on that sucker.
It was hard to see, but that was a 757. It hit up higher a little bit on, I think, what was that? World Trade Center. Was that one?
Yeah, I believe that was the North Tower.
World Trade Center 1, yeah. So that one got hit a little bit high up on the building. Now, the one that I'm talking about, that 767 that came diving in, that thing was going faster than 529 miles an hour.
Oh, that thing was ripping.
Because it was not only was it coming in at full throttle, but it was also coming in on a descent.
Yeah, it was
757 looked like it was more straight. It didn't look like he was diving. Maybe it was. Maybe it was just the angle, but it looked like he was coming straight in. But that's 767.
He came in, yeah.
He came in, and then he made that slight because I think he was off a tad, and he made that slight correction, so he banked it a little bit and clobbered. I mean, that was just, whew. And when those planes hit, people are talking about that. Fuel and everything came down the elevator shafts. I mean, that stuff just got everywhere. And like you said, the stuff is not, it's going to burn slow. It's not.
I was going to say that.
It's not going to.
It's not a flash in a pan like gasoline. This stuff's going to linger around on you, and it's going to burn super slow and really hot.
Exactly. And it burnt really hot. And you could see, and we could kind of get into the, have I been to? Yes, I have. I was stationed there. I was stationed at Travis for 4 years. But if you notice, the first tower that went wasn't the first one that got hit. It was the second one.
Right.
And there was I'm not an engineer. Again, I'm just kind of going by. I don't want to say common sense because I don't want to I'm not trying to degrade it.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
It hit lower in the building, right? It hit more in the middle of the building, rather middle to upper part of the building. The first one hit almost at only a few floors from the very top. So you hit on that second one, the plane hit, you got all that burning, and you got more weight sitting down on the area that was weakened. Right? So you got more weight pushing down on top of the area that was affected by the plane that hit. So it's going to collapse first, just because of that, just because of the nature of where the plane hit, how much weight is pushing down on it, and you got that fire burning. The second one went down a little bit later because that one is actually more of a cascading. If you notice where it collapsed from, of course, above where it cascaded down, and then everything just started going. It started basically peeling like an onion.
I hate to say it, but it kind of looked like Jenga blocks.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, that's exactly what it
just really kind of fell apart from the inside out, really.
Exactly. And to be honest with you, that was probably, I'm not trying to denigrate or anything, but honestly, that was the best case scenario, that it didn't just tip over, you know what I'm saying? Or
that's what I was worried about.
That's what I was worried about
when
too.
When I saw that in the early in the morning, I'm like, okay, what happens if that thing falls over on one of these other buildings here? Because that would have been a hell of a lot worse.
Now, I wasn't there to witness it, but I'm pretty sure that was a massive, collapse. You know what I'm saying? When you see it on TV, you could see it falling down. But I think that area that was falling down was massive. I couldn't even imagine what that must have looked like.
People got wiped out blocks away from all the debris. They lost the most senior ranking FDNY officer and his whole crew were killed because they were right there.
Exactly.
Underneath the collapse.
Yep. But that was just incredible. And then, of course, you're hearing stories about what happened because it doesn't stop, of course, with World Trade Center. You got the Pentagon that was clobbered.
Yeah.
Basic, and then of course you got the passengers on United Flight 93 who were able to do an incredible job of trying to overtake that airplane. Unbelievable that they were able to do that.
One of them was a guy from the Bay Area. He played rugby at Cal.
He did, and what helped him was other family members were able to talk to him on the phone saying, "This is what's going on." Yeah, United Airlines. Yep. And they were able to piece it together, and they say, "You know what? They're going to use this as a missile." So they told him what happened. Yeah, they're deducting of what's going on and say, "You know what?" Because part of the way that they were able to overtake these planes was because they were saying they had bombs. So people ain't gonna, hey, you got a bomb, I ain't gonna be messing with you. You know what I'm saying? Basically it keeps the people away because they knew they didn't have the means to keep an entire plane from rushing the cockpit or doing whatever it may needed to overtake the plane back, because they had the only defensive measures was blades. They might get one person, but you're not going to get 5 or 10 other guys.
No, hell no.
So United 93 passengers were able to figure out, hey, these guys are bluffing. So, they took matters in their hands. But the use of using airplanes as missiles is just I never even thought about that. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you have to, it's hard just thinking about it. You're just like, how the hell did they even think about this?
I mean, the last time we saw something like that was in World War II.
Kamikazes.
Yeah. Kamikazes.
Exactly. But it's weird because where were all the indicators, especially for your national team, whether it's CIA, FBI, NSA,
and up to that point,
DIA.
Up to that point, I mean, we really hadn't experienced. I mean, up until '93 or so, we really hadn't experienced any Middle Eastern terrorism. It was always in Europe. They were hijacking planes left and right in the '70s. That was the great hijacking era right there.
That was there's a lot of hijacking, and it was for ransom, and they weren't there to fly airplanes into buildings.
No, but we had never experienced anything like that. I was just so out of the box on how to suicide murder people. It was just
what I don't understand is, how did it not perk someone's ears that these guys are getting training in how to fly aircraft, but they're not learning how to land?
Well, I mean, that's the other thing.
I mean that's just
you all of a sudden get an influx of Middle Eastern students.
Yep.
Out of what, Saudi Arabia.
Yep.
And you just, raising flags. I mean, especially back then. I mean, back then it wasn't anywhere near the politically correct as it is today.
Yeah.
That would, to me, that would have related, some. And then, what's funny, well, it's not funny, but before they went, they all met in Portsmouth, Maine, and they all had they all had Pizza Hut before they went and did their thing the next morning. They had vegetarian pizza. Yeah. But the fact that they were just sitting there, they literally told the instructor, all we care about is learning how to fly this thing, not necessarily land. Like, okay, bro, like, this is passing your common sense test.
Exactly.
It's just strange. And
I remember Mancow. Remember Mancow?
Mancow.
Did you guys ever do live radio during the attacks of Mancow in Chicago? During the show, he started talking about them hitting the Pentagon. Well, oh, no kidding. Interesting.
Oh,
That's crazy.
Well, I mean, that makes sense because there was so much confusion.
Exactly. And
people were like, there was another plane supposed to hit, I mean, hell, they even evacuated San Francisco because they thought a plane was going to hit San Francisco.
And supposedly they didn't even, the planes that went to go intercept any planes that they thought was a danger, they had no missiles. They were going to have to ram them.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember the interview they had. The commander goes, "Yeah, I was prepared to do that." I'm like, "Okay, there, buddy."
Yeah, and then because it was actually a female pilot, she said the commander was going to take the nose and she was going to take the tail.
Yeah,
they're going to ram it, in two different areas. I was like, "Wow, that's incredible." I mean, Can you imagine that? As a pilot, who you're sworn to defend the Constitution of the United States and the people who live in it, and you're having to kill innocent people to save other. I mean, it's just incredible.
Sometimes that's what's got to take place. It's all part of the game when you sign up for this crap.
I remember hearing Mancow. Where did I hear him at before? I remember he was on I think he was national, right? Yeah, I think he was national. I'm trying to remember where I used to hear him. I think it was on no, it wasn't 98.5. I can't remember. No, wait. He was on Mancow. No. He was on Fox News. He used to broadcast his radio show for like an hour on Fox News. Right? Yeah, he was on Fox News. That's where he was. He had a little segment. That's what it was. I remember now. Not man-cow diseases. No.
That was some back in those days. That was some good radio, man. Then there was some good TV on it too. Dave Attell, Insomniac. Yucko the Clown.
No, I don't remember that.
Yucko the Clown was great.
Yeah, out of Chicago. He has a shock jock back in 2001. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he was on Fox News. I'm almost positive. He had a little skit. All right, what else do we got? But yeah, hey, chat. You guys talk to us about 9/11. Were you guys anywhere near when it happened? Another thing that was really eerie too was that there was no planes flying over, because out in Wichita Falls, a lot of the air traffic flew over the top from Dallas Fort Worth, going east, or either going east or west, and not a plane in the sky. One of my posts I had to do, again, I'm on night shift. I had to guard a road out in the middle of nowhere, and I was out there all night. It was me, coyotes, and freaking jackrabbits. That was it. And it was beautiful sky, man. You know how you got the high sky, no clouds, you see the stars everywhere. But I'm just out in the middle of nowhere, just making sure the people who are coming down that road are supposed to be on the base.
You know what's funny? I remember I remember watching. There was shortly after 9/11, there was a series that I believe it was at the Discovery Channel or TLC when they were actually worth the crap watching. But they were doing a series on the Army Rangers. And they were following a group of Army Rangers through Ranger School. And I remember in the program, one of the instructors come out and go, "Hey, we just got attacked. World Trade Centers are knocked down. Pentagon was attacked. We're going to war." And I remember they panned the camera over to all the students' faces that were in that little group there, and they were just like, "Oh crap, here we go."
Oh wow, I didn't know that. Allegedly Putin? No, it couldn't have been Putin. Well, maybe it was, because he took power in 2000. Yeah, maybe. That's hard to tell. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I would have to see what the sources were according to that. But I'm not gonna say it didn't, because it's possible.
Hey man, who knows?
How was my Christmas? Not bad, except
stranger things happened.
I had to freaking get a tune-up in my car and replace the coil, and have to replace a damn refrigerator. But other than that, yeah.
Merry effing Christmas, man.
Oh,
you had a Griswold vacation.
Freaking crap, man. Other than that, no, seriously, it was good. I like what Jimmy says. He goes, what do you think the failures were leading up? Oh my gosh. Biggest thing is intelligence, right?
The intelligence, the bureaucracy of it all. The fact that the one was too good to talk to the other. I'm a CIA guy. I'm too big for you. I'm not going to share information with the FBI. How dare I do that?
Yep.
I mean, literally, the whole thing could have been prevented had they been speaking to each other.
Exactly.
I mean, oh my God! The greatest intelligence blunder of all time, guys.
Absolutely. Yes.
So far.
Up to this point, yeah. So far.
Hey man.
Yeah, exactly. You
don't
never
know what's going to happen with the
You never know, man. I know exactly where you're going. But another thing is, could it be a perceived lack of weakness on the country? Maybe
that too. I mean, again, we were in a retaliatory position. We weren't aggressive. We weren't really doing too much back then.
We weren't thwarting anyone.
We weren't thwarting anything. We didn't. Nobody really respected us too much. We weren't really carrying a big stick like we used to have.
And I kind of laid it out. You know, you got 6 attacks by international.
6 attacks, and the response was what? A couple missile strikes, whoopty woo.
Exactly. There wasn't a whole lot of
to a terrorist, that means nothing unless you're killing a whole squad
correct.
of them.
Exactly, unless you're getting the people that you need to get. On that same token, with that and like you said, the bureaucracy of how some of these organizations work, where I can't tell you because according to this rule or this law, I can't give you this information. You can't give me your information.
No.
You can't piece nothing together.
It's
and lo and behold, that's, you know, after all this done, now you got the.
And then they have all the jurisdictional bull crap within all that. It's like, what? Who cares? When it comes to a terrorist attack, screw jurisdiction. That's out the freaking window.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you better start creating a task force and share everything with everybody, not play these little weird games that they were playing. I mean, at some point, and someone had to have had the common sense, like, hey, what the hell are we doing here? I mean, obviously it happened after the fact.
Now, that's the problem with bureaucracy. You know, you got people who are in government positions who are used to doing it a certain way, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
It's the idea. It makes me wonder, even after September 11th, of course, we go through a huge self-examination of our government. You know, what can we do to prevent it? They created the Office of Homeland Security. Remember the color-coded threat levels?
Oh yeah, we're at threat orange today. We're at red. Oh shit.
Yeah, exactly. But it meant nothing because it was always.
To go back a little bit further on the intelligence thing, this stuff we already knew about how bad the intelligence was because this was happening in the drug wars. The ATF and the DEA were at war with each other, and the FBI was at war with everybody. You know, which led to many downfalls of what was happening there in Colombia. I mean, and then our own border afterwards in the 80s, the Cali cartel running their stuff through El Chapo and all that fun stuff. But Barry Seal and all that. I mean, those games have already been being played back then in the 80s and early 90s. I mean, geez.
And think about this. So now we've had, 22 years, right, since that's happened. This is what happens, and it always happens. Where do you think the level of vigilance has gone from the time that they formulated all this Homeland Security and all this other stuff, where we were pretty vigilant at that time, right, because of what happened?
Oh yeah.
And as time goes by, what tends to happen?
Oh, we get last day of school, and I mean,
exactly.
Do you think we would have open borders in 2001?
Nope.
Hell, F no.
Nope. Good point. And that's where I'm kind of going is, where are we now in comparison to pre-September 11th?
We're wide open for another one.
Not the same? And it's scary.
We're wide open for
it's scary. And these are the people, there's people in positions that are supposed to make sure when we go to sleep at night, they got everything covered. Is that happening now? I don't know. I mean, I can't say that it is or that it isn't.
Hunting the Jackal Arrow. That's a good book about that. One of the guy who wrote that book, I mentioned it before on
the Jackal.
Billy Waugh was a member of the CIA Special Operations Group, and his job was to track down Carlos the Jackal, a terrorist out of South America. While he was there, he had spotted bin Laden, and there was a battle about jurisdictional BS about whether or not he could arrest bin Laden or take him out potentially right then and there. And that would prevent, this is 93, this would have prevented everything. And they let bin Laden walk. They let him walk.
Wow.
But yeah, he had the drop on bin Laden a long time ago. He had hunted him down because he was helping Carlos the Jackal, who hid in Sudan.
Huh.
Yep. They had a missed opportunity.
Huh. Taking a look at this. Just take a look at
Carlos
Twitter real quick.
the Jackal.
Carlos the Jackal. But yeah, that's kind of where's MF? I know MF wanted to talk about this. He doesn't remember any of this, but
Yeah, this is history. Yeah, he was. What, he said he was like 4 years old or something.
something like that, right?
Yeah. Shoot, I don't remember too much when I was 4 years old.
I know.
I remember throwing my brother out through the screen door.
All right, then. There you go.
I didn't do it on purpose. I just
Hey, that's what kids do, right?
was a little 4-year-old man. That's all I was doing.
How old was your brother?
Oh God, I think he probably was just a toddler, probably 1 or something. He was in one of those, the chairs you put the babies in, help walk and stuff. The little bouncy chairs. And then I push him out the damn screen door like a moron. Oh man. Let's see what we got here. Oh, you're muted. Oh, you're still muted. Unless I'm muted.
Oh, there you go. That was me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that. That was tough. There's a lot of tough moments, man. People jumping out of the windows.
Oh God, that was the worst. Because I don't know if they show that stuff like they did when we were watching on the news. Because remember when I don't know, because you and I watch the same news footage from that day, more likely. But they were zooming in on the jumpers, people in the windows. They were. And I was like, holy crap, they're actually showing this. Like, can we have some dignity here? I mean,
I know. And they were showing that the couple. Remember, they were holding hands on the way down. I was like, my God.
I remember one where there was remember the pictures that came out the next day in the paper. There was one where you could see the tower collapse, and if they zoomed in, you could actually see a guy falling out of the debris.
Really?
I was like, oh, wow. Bro, that is intense.
I remember that, Jimmy.
Remember, there's a good.
It just shows you
how bad is it up there to where they got to do something like that, right?
I know.
I would, honestly, I would hope that God doesn't see that as an actual suicide. It wasn't really there. They were going to die no matter what.
Yeah.
I would hope the big man didn't judge them the other way.
And they probably could have got down into a hall or a stairway, but the smoke was so thick.
They were going to die. It was simple. I mean, they were, I hate to say it, but they were literally toast. I mean.
It was really in that National Geographic when they're talking to that fireman, they say you could hear the people just impacting the building.
If you watch that
you hear it.
The documentary 9/11, boom.
Yeah, you just hear it.
They're smacking that ground at 120 miles an hour terminal velocity.
Yeah.
In fact, the very first firefighter death was from a falling body.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep. The very first fire fatality of that day was from a falling. It was from a jumper. And the frustrating part was on the North Tower, they had locked the stairs above the very top of the tower were all locked up for whatever reason, and the people couldn't get out to the top. Not that it would help. And then, which was interesting because the NYPD was actually talking about doing a helicopter roof rescue.
Yeah, they were, but there was no one up there. There was no one up on top.
But yeah, and then they
wouldn't have nowhere to land either.
Yeah, they deemed it too dangerous, so they didn't do it.
Yeah,
which makes sense. Where would you put the bird at? I mean, how would you you have to get a ladder system? It'd be weird. Smokes everywhere.
Yeah, it would fought out the engine probably if it sucked in that.
Probably, smoke. Then now you got a helicopter crash it down on top of everybody to deal with.
Exactly.
But I thought, I thought one of the most interesting parts there, if you watch that 9/11 documentary, those guys are the first to arrive on the scene.
Yep.
And the people were coming out of the elevators all on fire and everything. A guy was rolling around the ground. They were saying,
crazy. Yeah. Oh, I remember that too. I was in 8th grade when that happened.
I think I was.
Was I 8th grade? 1986. Yeah.
I was around. Yeah, I was already born.
That was tough.
Actually, according to my mom, I watched it with her when she was staying at home with me.
Oh, no kidding! Wow.
Yeah, I don't remember watching it because I was just a little guy.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you're just a little guy. Crazy stuff going on here. We could kind of segue into what's going on in the world. Oh my God, dude.
What's not going on in the world? I mean,
you got Iran now getting into the action of shooting at ships. I guess the Navy intercepted a bunch of missiles and drones. Like what, 12 drones and 6 missiles or something?
A 10-hour period or something like that.
You got
there was a shipping container that was attacked that we lost communication with.
Really?
Yeah.
When did that happen? Just recent?
Recently. Let me see if I can pull up the deets on that if I still have it bookmarked. It was one of our ships.
Oh, what do you mean? One of our?
It was a U.S. flagship.
Oh.
Where is this thing at? The MSC United 8. MSC released a statement that they're assessing the vessel damage, but they have lost communication. That was 10 hours ago.
Huh. Interesting. I guess we'll see what happens.
I would hope our response would be just fall out. Hey, we're going to bomb.
Well, it's daylight over there now, so they should be able to have eyes on what's going on here.
I mean, this is just so silly.
And then you got that constantly going on with nothing happening. You got American forces getting attacked in Syria and Iraq again. I guess they bombed some kind of building.
Wounded a couple of soldiers.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, no, it's like, yeah, it was up north in Iraq and then in Syria. You see the Ukrainians blow up that landing ship, the Russian landing ship.
Good on them, man. That was cool.
Man,
that was badass.
Damn. They're decimating the Black Sea Fleet. Decimating them.
We could use them to decimate the Chinese fleet.
Yeah, no kidding.
God. See what happened to all the sabotage we used to do back in the day? What happened to that art form? Guess we lost our. Hold on a second here. Oh, they're just expanding operations further south into Gaza.
Yeah, I'm just taking a gander right here. See if there's any update.
Oh, sweet. I got my waivers in.
Oh, yeah. I got the waivers in.
For my other teams. Yeah, I'm in a championship match and 2 other.
Oh, you are? How you doing?
It's pretty good. This especially now. I got Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's going to go off on the Bengals. So I'm undefeated in one of my leagues, man. I have not lost a single freaking game.
Damn.
I'm just mopping them up, man.
Damn. Is it full PPR or is it
half PPR?
Okay. What's that thing? You have to have a more well-rounded team with that, right?
Right. Yeah. And you kind of lean more on the running backs.
Mm.
And you only have one quarterback as well.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
And we also have a kicker. I had a guy's kicker score 29 points on me the other day.
A kicker?
Yeah, that kicker from the Chargers. He scored like 23 or 20. He scored, I can't remember how many points. I was like, what the hell? I'm about to lose to this guy with that? Yeah, I'm playing this guy named Floppy Johnson's in one of my championships games.
How you looking? Pretty good?
I don't know, man. He's got Christian McCaffrey.
Oh.
That's a cheat code right there.
Wow. Yeah, that's going to make it tough.
My running backs are all that great. They used to be earlier in the season. I had great running backs. Montgomery, he's kind of fizzled out. Devon Achane, he was great. Now he's like nothing.
Huh. And now you got to play Heroku in the NorCal one, right?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna kick that ass. I've been about that for a while. As far as
that's the battle for third, right?
Yeah. We're still on the money. Whoever wins is still on the money.
Oh, that's right, because it's first through third.
Yeah, but I was, as far as I'm concerned, the real championship happened over this weekend.
Oh man, that was a hell of a battle. I was watching. I was like, "Oh my god!" It kept going back and forth. I was like, "What is going on?"
Like the two best teams in the league were going at it, man.
Yep.
God, so many points. Both of our teams are just stout, man.
Yeah, he got 190. You got like what 170, I think, or something.
Yeah, I was close. Yeah, if he didn't play Brees Hall, I would have won.
Yep. And he went off with what, like 40 something points?
43 points.
You see what? Oh man, dude.
It's all yeah. And Brees Hall was projected to go nowhere near that. I mean, he was projected to not really have a good game.
Wow.
Oh yeah, Matthew. I stopped drafting CMC for that reason. I got burned by him like two or 3 years in a row.
Wow. He goes, apparently 59% of all fantasy teams with CMC made the championship game.
Probably if you have.
You know what's crazy though? You know who had CMC on our league? The last place guy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, he lost his quarterback. If Anthony Richardson had still stayed in the game, I think
that's right. Yeah,
John's team would have been a hell of a lot better.
Yeah, I forgot. That was the Indy quarterback, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was doing so well.
What was it? A shoulder? I think he hurt.
Yeah, they kept running him just like they did with Trey Lance, and they ended up, Trey Lance kept getting busted up because they run him down the middle and stuff. But he had a concussion, and then he ended up getting the injury, shoulder injury afterwards. Oh, Ryan's at platinum level now, huh?
Is he?
Yeah.
He must be in other leagues too.
I lost 9 points on my level, but I'm still at diamond. You know what, man? This what's sad about this? I think I'm gonna end up doing fantasy basketball after we're done with this season.
Oh,
we're gonna need something to fill that void. I think, man.
Yeah, there you go. That's because you guys play 2-quarterback league. Yep, changes the whole market. Now the guy can't pick up a QB.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Pretty much all quarterbacks taking off the.
It makes it. Yeah, exactly. I like the idea of limited moves too.
I do too. There's also like there's some leagues have rules where like if you're not in like the winners playoff bracket, like you're not allowed to make any waivers or something like that.
Oh wow!
And then bad trades are penalized by $20.
Damn!
You offer a bad trade.
Ooh, it keeps people honest.
Well, it keeps you from getting all the BS stuff, Like, yeah, I'm going to trade you this crap for your best player. Like, no, man. Like, I'll stop wasting my time with that.
Nothing new here. Nothing new.
A little bit more expansion into Lebanon, but not too much. Same as usual.
Yeah, that's kicking off a lot more. Oh, yeah. How about that? Israel knocks off that brigadier general from their.
Oh, yeah. They freaking swacked that guy.
Their Revolutionary Guard.
Freaking reach out and touch face, huh?
Yep.
Oh, God. He got smoked. Yeah, see, Matthew, same way. So my first time, I played fantasy basketball back in like 2003. Like we used to play, we had a little league going in one of my classes. I was talking about my computer classes when I was in high school or something. But I hadn't played it since then. And I played fantasy basketball for the first time in 16 years, 2019. I won my league. I didn't know any of the players. I had LeBron James on my team, on Anthony D. I know those guys. But I don't really want. Until the Kings recently got better, I have not followed basketball since 2000, and since the Kings started looking like Dookie, almost 15, 16 years ago.
Wow.
So I'm still new to these players, man. Like I really don't know who the hell's. I know the big names. That's about it. Yeah. Yeah, fantasy basketball is actually pretty fun. It's easier to do than fantasy baseball. Fantasy hockey is all right, too.
Fantasy hockey? Wow.
Yeah. But that one's you gotta be careful because that could take up a lot of your time there.
I
I might
bet.
do baseball this next year.
I don't know, man. That's every day you're gonna do something, man.
It
Man,
sounds fun, man. It sounds like
it does. It does.
the way Los talks about it, I'm like, you know what? I'm about it.
Whew.
I'm about it. I'm already invested a lot in fantasy football as it is. Yeah, might as well. Get Arson Judge on my team. Oh
How many
man.
moves? Oh, I don't even want to
Oh
know.
man, throughout the season. Oh,
Oh
dude,
my
probably
god.
freaking 2,000.
Oh my god.
He's already got 100 and what some odd in our league.
100
If we could still trade, he could make a trade. He would make a trade right now. I almost guarantee you. He'd be
Yep.
offering somebody. He'd probably want to dump Nick Mullins off on somebody for someone else, you know,
Exactly.
or Kyler Murray, dump him off. Well, here you go. I'll take if he could still trade, he would, man.
Yep.
I would too. To be honest with you, I kind of wish we had our deadline extended. By at least another week or so.
Yeah, that would have been nice. All right. Well, you know what? I think I'm gonna shut it down. It's already almost getting close to pushing 1 o'clock.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna start up the music here. But it was interesting going down memory lane.
Yeah.
I haven't talked about damn. What's up, Tyler? So trade Farhan Zaidi for a bag of chips.
I haven't talked about
Keep it up,
in a
man,
while.
guys. You know, what's up, man? We'll be going every night, you know, talking some Giants. There's a lot of people out there wanting to talk Giants, and we're here to do it. So what can they do right now? To be honest with you, I don't know, man. It sounds like the only kind of moves they're going to do now is just name recognition type stuff just to make it say, hey, look at fans, we are able to do something. But it really doesn't do anything.
Oh, in case anybody wants to know, I got I'll post a link to our team chant for this upcoming season.
That's pretty funny. Yeah.
I love the English, man. They're amazing.
That's pretty good.
I got to go to England, man. They look like they know how to party.
And they understand when they suck.
Oh yeah, they embrace it. They embrace the suck.
There you go. Embrace the suck. But yeah, I don't know what the hell is going to happen with the damn Giants. I don't want to see Matt Chapman. I mean, Snell, I'd be okay. I don't want to see Matt Chapman. We got
Snell's
Casey
too
Schmidt.
busy playing Fortnite to do any deals these days.
Is he still playing that stuff right now?
I'm subscribed to him, so I get every day he's on there playing that damn kids game.
Is he really?
Yeah. Oh man, he was on there with what was his teammate's name there? Or Grisham. Well, he's not his teammate anymore.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah,
He was on there. Yeah, he was on there with Grisham the other day. Yeah, it's the new generation, man.
Exactly.
Well, I can't complain. I play video games too. I mean, what the hell am I talking about?
What do you play?
These days I've been playing that Cyberpunk game.
Oh yeah,
It's not too bad.
I used to love playing Call of Duty.
I just wrapped up that Starfield game the other night. I was waiting for that game for. I like anything aerospace to me. I love.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Probably get Microsoft Flight Simulator start up again one of these days.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's like intense stuff right there.
That's fun, man.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining. Appreciate it. We kind of went a little bit late, but that's what we do. Like I said, I'm gonna try to alternate it between late and early. We'll see how it all works out, just so we can, get other people involved. Because I like being involved with the chat. That's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
You can catch me again, tomorrow at 8:30, NorCal Sports Network. We couldn't even get Mitch Garver. Ain't that the truth, Mo? Would have much rather have Mitch Garver than who the hell is that guy? Tom Murphy. Whatever. What are you gonna do? As a Giants fan, it makes it tough. But yeah, tomorrow 8:30, we'll be back on talking more Giant stuff, and maybe I'll go on probably after. Well, New Year's is not, but we'll see. Maybe this weekend sometime. We'll see.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
All right, and then maybe I don't know. I haven't really got a show title really. Maybe just do current events. Just go from there.
Play it by ear.
Yeah, exactly. You never know what may happen.
Talk some aerospace.
Yeah, maybe we get into some of that, man. Maybe more Civil War stuff. Gosh.
Oh, dude, yeah, man, I got a good old boy. I haven't talked to him a little bit. I gotta talk to him. We gotta make that. I want to make that happen.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. I don't know if you saw on. Thanks, Mo. Appreciate it. If on American Battlefield they did a where they made recipes from using hardtack, but they made it a little more. Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah,
it was neat.
Hate to continue just for just a little bit. If you guys are interested in history and food, there's a great channel called Tasting History.
Oh, okay.
And the guy makes old, like the other day he made Roman pullus or whatever the hell it was that they fed the gladiators. And
oh, really?
He goes in, he makes garum, which was the old fish oil they had used back then in the Roman days. It is really, he made the menu for the Titanic. He recreated it.
Really?
So, yeah, the Hindenburg. He did the Hindenburg too. Their dinner menu. It's really cool.
Wow.
He talks about the history of the food and why it was served. He goes into really great detail.
Gets really deep into it, huh?
Yeah, it's a pretty cool show, man.
What is it called? History of Food?
A taste of history.
Taste of history. That's a great name.
Let me make sure this is the right thing before I lead you down to some weirdness here. Tasting history. Tasting history of Max Miller. There it is.
Okay, tasting history. I'm gonna have to take a gander at that.
Yeah, it's good, man. You'll like it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining, Will. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Thanks to the chat. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Talking some little bit of. We didn't get that deep into it, but we kind of a little bit, because we could really get off.
We could go 3 or 4 hours. We could go all day.
You really could. You really could. And unfortunately, with the time that we had, it's kind of hard to do that.
Yeah.
But all right, guys, we'll catch you on the next one. See you tomorrow, 8:30, NorCal Sports Network, NorCal Sports Network, and then maybe look for me on the weekend for another Military History Chronicles. Until then, guys, we will see ya
Later.